Yan. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the third session of our 19th Information Literacy Program. I am Gladys Joy G. Soretes, and together with me is Miss Christine G. Balmes. We are college librarians from the UPLB Main Library, and we will be your moderators for this session. Please register to join our raffle draw using the link https://bit.ly/19ilp-r3 so that you can join the raffle and win some prizes. Please do register. Okay, as we start, please allow me to read some reminders for our participants so that you may know how to participate in this session. First, this activity will be recorded for documentation purposes. Please mute your microphone and turn off your camera throughout the session unless acknowledged by the speaker or host. In asking your questions, kindly use the link https://pigeonhole.at/19ilps3. This link is also posted in the chat box. You may start posting your questions while the talk is ongoing. Questions will be entertained after the session. Everyone is encouraged to stay until the end of the activity and accomplish the evaluation form at the end of the session. E-certificates will only be given to participants who successfully registered, participated, and answered the evaluation form. Please, reminder for everyone to double-check your information, especially your email address and, of course, the spelling of your name. And also, in posting your e-certificate, kindly cover or blur the signature. And last, please remember to be polite, pay attention, and actively participate. Again, this is the link for our questions. You can scan the QR code, and you can also find the link in the chat box. And now let me introduce to you our resource speaker for this session. Our resource speaker is a CABI's regional sales manager with over 20 years experience in information industry. She has in-depth knowledge on scientific information and current awareness requirements of practitioners and researchers in agricultural community and has conducted training for various officers in Department of Agriculture, quarantine and inspection divisions, government research bodies, and specialist agriculture and university libraries in Asia. She also holds a bachelor's degree in economics and master's degree in library and information science from the University of Malaya. So without further ado, let's all welcome Ms. Lina Yip. Hello, Ms. Lina.
Thank you very much, Gladys, for the introductions. Good morning, everybody. I think without further ado, shall we begin the sessions? I think we have about 1.5 hours, and I will try to cover all as comprehensive as possible. So I'm gonna switch off my video, and so that we could just focus on the PowerPoint. Okay. So the topic for today is resourcing agriculture scientific information with CABI database. So I assume most who are with us today are either involved in agriculture or related life science topic. So hopefully you will find this session useful. So what we're going to cover today, basically I'm going to give you a little bit of background about CABI, who we are, okay? And then we're going to look at the scope of coverage of the resource that is available to access from your library. Basically, CAB abstract, CABI Compendium, as well as CABI ebooks. Okay, and we're also going to look at some of the other resources that CABI publish, which is freely available to you. So we're going to look at that at the end of the slides presentations. And then we're gonna spend some time to show you how you can access CABI resource remotely from home through the UPLB library. And then some of the tools that you can use within the CABI resource to help you frame your search strategies. And then how you can then manage your search results. Okay, for those who are not familiar with CABI, CABI basically stands for Center of Agriculture Bioscience International. Okay, it is a not-for-profit intergovernmental organization. Okay, we are not a corporate, but rather an intergovernment organization. Okay, and it is owned by a member country through a UN treaty level agreement. So basically it's a government to government agreement. Okay. And
Lina, can I interrupt for a while?
Sorry?
I think you haven't shared your screen yet, your presentation.
Oh, sorry. I have not shared my screen. Just a second. Thanks for letting me know, Jaren, is it?
Yes, you're welcome.
All right. Sorry for that. Okay. Can you see the presentation slides now?
Yes, we can see your presentation now.
Okay.
Yes.
So maybe I'll just go back just to show you the agenda for today.
I thought you're just going. You've been doing your introduction. All right, you're good to go.
Sorry.
You're good to go.
Okay, all right, that's good. So I'm not going to repeat what I said earlier. So just basically, I'm just going back to the slide so that you can have a glimpse of this is the agenda for today. Okay, and okay, a little bit about CABI. I think I mentioned what CABI stands for, and how what to call the CABI entity itself is not what to call established as a corporate, but rather it's an intergovernment organization, and it is owned by 50 member countries, and Philippines is basically one of CABI member countries. Okay, and the headquarters is based in the UK, okay, Wallingford, quite close to Oxford. With 450 staff across the world. A lot of our staff are basically based in the headquarters, in a lot of developing countries, in Africa, Pakistan, in Asia, we have a presence we have a regional office in Beijing, as well as in Malaysia, where I'm based. And what do we do? Basically, CABI is a development organization. So basically the issue that we try to address is like on food securities, food safety, and applying scientific information to solve problems in agriculture and the environment. Okay, and because to support our development agenda, so we also publish a lot of the scientific information that I'm going to show you later. Okay, so these are just a quick what to call view to show you who are member countries. So we have some developed nations as well as or developing nations as well, including Malaysia, Philippines, Brunei, and a few more countries. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, so our main mission, okay, of CABI is basically to help farmers to grow more and lose less, and also to help them to be able to access the market for their product as well, okay, by using the scientific informations and knowledge. So we don't work alone. So we work with a lot of partners. So to help achieve what we call the Sustainable Development Goal. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you have come across this one, these SDGs before. So these are some of our main SDG, that we try to help to achieve. Okay. And as you can see, CABI also get a lot of support, okay, and funding for our project work. So these are our development project work. Like plant-wise, we have a lot of support from, let's say, ADB and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and some government aid. So, and the area where our development work or project is focusing on is to tackle issues related to food and nutrition security, okay, climate change, okay, gender and youth involvement in agriculture, as well as market access and economic developments for a lot of farmers, especially small holding farmers, okay, or rural farmers. And where does CABI expertise lies in? CABI has a lot of scientists working in crop health, the tackling pests and disease, as well as invasive species that attack crops. We also have expertise in biocontrol, okay, and as well as communications and extension. How do we deliver, okay, or bridge the gap between research that has been done and applications at the farmer level, okay? So that we have the expertise, CABI has the expertise in terms of communicating and extension through various media, okay, like mobile advisories, radio, comic, and various others means. And also we use technology like satellite technology to make forecasts on pests and disease, as well as we have expertise in preventing and tackling invasive species, publishing, and value chain and trade. So of course, to live the livelihood of the farmers, they need to be able to sell their products, not only in the domestic market, but as well as internationally. So there is a lot of compliance that is involved. So we help a lot of farmers in developing countries in terms of the value chain and trade compliance. Beside that, CABI also hosts or held large collections of microbial in our facilities. We have the third largest microbial or fungi collections in the world. Okay, like the original penicillin, the strain, the live strains is being kept in CABI facilities. And we also keep some of these strains on behalf of our member countries. So for those who are doing research and who need, for example, a particular strain for their research purposes, or to look at potential of commercializations, you could have a look at our website, to see if there's any particular areas that you need CABI bio services. So the last part, okay, is basically our product and services. So besides having actual scientists working with our partners, we also publish a lot of informations or resource to support our work as well. And a lot of these is available to you. from the UPLB library. Okay, like books, online resources. There is like tools and apps, like for example, horizon scanning tools and apps, as well as educations and training. For example, like e-learning modules that we have recently launched. I think last year we have the crop pest diagnosis e-learning module, as well as crop pest management e-learning module. And then there is open access services like town-wise knowledge bank, invasive species compendium, some of the e-books that is also available without any kind of subscriptions. And we also have the CABI Agriculture and Bioscience Journal. This is also an open access journal that you could access. Okay. Okay, so that is just a little bit of introductions about CABI, what we do, our missions, as well as our divisions and our capability. Okay, so in the next couple of slides, it's basically I'm gonna introduce some of the database or resources that is available to you, so that you have a better understanding of the resources when you do your literature search, and you know which one to use based on what you need. Okay. First is basically going to introduce CAB abstract. Okay. This is CABI flagship resource. Okay. And it has been it has a long-standing reputation for as a one-stop comprehensive resource for agriculture and related life science. Okay. The coverage includes, of course, agriculture, environment, forestry, animal, veterinary, soil sciences, nutrition, applied economic, as well as alternative land use like leisure and tourism. Okay. And it is used by basically all the major agriculture library in the world. Okay. And although CAB abstract says that, you know, it's an abstract, later I'm going to show you that it also includes quite a lot of full text in there. Okay. Currently you have about 10 million record. Okay, and you can see the graph that is basically the coverage, basically from the farm to the plate, okay, to the human health area, and it includes quite a lot of full text. You'll be surprised to see how many full text that you can access from there. Currently, I think this is a bit dated. I think the last I checked is about 600,000 full text record that we post in there. Besides that, because agriculture is a very important subject and a lot of research are basically funded by public funding. So a lot of research you can find in there, you can see that is basically on an open access journal platform. So you can also get access to the full text as well. So this now is just a broad overview on the coverage, but you can see here, beside agriculture and related applied life sciences, there's also a lot of other subject area that outside the agriculture faculty that people can use. For example, leisure tourism, you know, people in business management faculty, they can use this CAB abstract if they say they are looking at maybe agribusiness. Okay, this is relevant to them as well. And for people who are a researcher in chemistry, there is a lot of record on, for example, biofuel. Okay, and then there is also a lot of records related to biology, for example, molecular biology or science faculties, which is also applicable to them as well. Okay, and also there is a bit of coverage on the agriculture engineering for those who are from the engineering faculty. Okay, so there is quite a broad area. So when you search CAP abstract, basically you're searching the world. Okay, so the coverage comes from 113 countries. Okay, obviously it's not a surprise that a lot of the content come from Europe and not North America, but you can see that CAP abstract also cover a lot of content from, for example, Southeast Asia. Okay, although it's stated here about 2%, but it's quite substantial when you search CAP abstract. So the coverage is much more balanced. Okay, not just focusing on developed country, but if you're looking for material on your own backyard, for example, you're looking for information related to pests and disease. It is quite important also to search, our own backyard, which is closer to home. Okay, so you can find a lot of content in there as well. And currently, I think we scan close to about 8,000 serials. Okay, and these serials are not static. So we add new serials because new publications available all the time. So every year, we would review some of the new series that's coming, that is available. And for example, in 2020, CABI add additional 60 new series in the CAP abstract that this is the content is being included in there. So if your faculty does publish any journals and you would like it to be to disseminate it widely, you can contact us. We'll review this series and see whether it's suitable for inclusion, and it's basically free of charge to include series in CABI database. Besides series and journal, CAP abstract also include gray literature, for example, proceedings, annual reports, paper, handbooks, project report, technical reports, and working paper. Okay, you can find it's basically about 4% of the entire database. So the main content basically come from journals, that is close to about 90%, and about 10% is from various other sources. Okay, like I mentioned, although the name CAP abstract, it also includes full text. Okay, CABI holds about 500,000 of full text in there, but you can, later I'm going to show you, beside what we host, you can also link through to various full text that either the UPLB library holding already subscribed to, or additional full text that is basically open access. Okay. And in terms of full text, okay, these are sort of the spread in terms of coverage. Okay, basically the full text that CABI include, most of it are non-commercial. Okay, I'm sure a lot of major commercial journals, a lot of library already subscribe, and hard to find journals. Okay, and you can see a lot of it coming from Indian subcontinent, Asia, Middle East, and other countries other than the traditional traditional or major commercial publishers country. Okay. So besides serials and non-serials, CABI also include a systematic review article. Okay, and later on I will show you that there is a systematic review filter in the CAP Abstract platform, where you can quickly access evidence-based paper, okay, if you are looking for such material. Okay, so that is basically a little bit about CAP Abstract, to the scope of coverage, so, and the depth. I think I didn't mention in there is that in terms of year, it starts from 1973 to current. So it's quite a long back file. You have about 30 years, over 30 years back file when you search CAP Abstract. Okay. It will be considered the first database to search to start your literature search journey. Okay, so any questions so far about CAP Abstract? Okay, no. So the next resource that I'm going to talk about is CABI Compendium. Okay, CABI Compendium is slightly different from CAP Abstract. CAP Abstract contains many journals. Okay, when you are about to start your final year paper, you're looking for a topic you're trying to identify topic for your research or to do your literature search. That is the one that normally people will start their search. But for CABI Compendium, it is slightly different. Okay, the compendium is something like an encyclopedia. It's a science-based encyclopedic information resource, and it covers mainly is mainly used for example, for food productions. Okay, it covers animal health and productions, aquacultures, crop protections, forestry, horticulture, and invasive species. So as you can see, the topic there, most of the subject area is for food, except for forestry, which covers tree species, okay, or forestry tree species. So the content is slightly different. It is, instead of journal, article, the main content in here is basically data sheets, and including sections of data sheet that you normally find in a reference encyclopedia. Okay, and it contains informations commissioned by CABI, as well as with key organizations like OIE, for animal health or aquaculture, EPO for plant protections or crop protections, fish-based aquaculture, World Fish Center, FAO, and many more. Okay, it is written by expert. Okay, CABI commission expert to write the data sheets, and you have not only the references from journals, but you could, it's a relational database that can help you in terms of, it's a decision-making tool, okay, or to support diagnostic. Presently, we have 5 compendium. Okay, these are all available to access from UPLB library. Okay, and each of these compendium has its independent URL. Okay, so if you're let's say doing a research on, let's say, African or you have a problem related to African swine fever, for example, then you would need to identify which one is suitable for you to go in. So of course, it's animal health. So then you go to each of these the URL for that compendium. Okay. So to know which one to go to, I think the name itself is quite clear. Here, the following few slides would sort of give you a detail on the scope of coverage of each of these compendium. Okay, so the animal health basically cover all major species and breed of livestock and poultry species. Okay, so basically animal for food. Okay, and for example, ruminants, cattle, sheep, and as well as poultry species. Okay, and as well as their product, for example, meat, egg, and milk. Okay, it doesn't include, for example, pets. Okay, or a wild animal. Okay, if you're searching for, let's say, issues related to maybe a cat disease, you should go to CAP abstract or not Animal Health and Productions Compendium. Okay, so it's important to know which database to go to when you do your search. Okay, so it covers the breed as well as the disease, pathogen, and vector that is affecting a particular species. Beside that, it also includes husbandry, breeding, nutrition, and the food safety aspect of the product. Okay. Well, the Aquaculture Compendium, of course, covers all the aquatic species, mainly farm aquatic species. Okay. It doesn't really cover wild aquatic species. Okay, so as the name suggests, Aquaculture Compendium, and the associated disease related to particular cultured species. So the species include finfish, crustacean, mollusks, algae, and seaweed. Okay, and it covers the species as well as the farming system, the ecosystem, the production system, and issues related to aquaculture. And the aquaculture has an additional coverage, which is quite unique compared to other compendium. It has a lot of case studies material, okay, that is related to Southeast Asia focus. So I think for Philippines, I think we have a lot of aquaculture. So I think that this is quite relevant because you can find a lot of materials related to Philippines. Okay, next is Crop Protections Compendium. So it covers major economic importance crops. Okay, of course, like rice, horticulture crops. Okay, and as well as the related pests and disease, and as well as wheat, yeah, and how do you protect crops from the disease, pests, and wheat. It also includes natural enemy, as CABI always promote what do call the integrated pest management or biocontrol. So there is information related to natural enemy to use for control. Okay, I think you can read that there's a lot of statistics in there, but you can see the major component is the data sheets. And later I'm going to show you a little bit, how you can utilize the data sheets in here. Okay, and I mentioned this, Forestry Compendium is slightly different from the rest because it covers non-food productions. Okay, it covers mainly tree species, economic important tree species. Okay, mainly for in the forestry. Okay, so like the Crop Protections Compendium, instead of crops, it covers the trees as well as the disease affecting the tree species. Okay, and the next one is the Horticulture Compendium. Okay, this is slightly different from Crop Protections Compendium. Horticulture Compendium basically cover horticulture crops, the productions, and key pests and disease. So the Horticulture Compendium doesn't cover pests and disease as detailed as the Crop Protections Compendium, but what it includes is basically covering from, from breeding, propagation, down to post-harvest, what kind of post-harvest treatment that is required till that the product can reach the market. Okay, so if you're looking at post-harvest issues of maybe avocado, okay, the compendium that you should start your search first will be the Horticulture Compendium instead of Crop Protections Compendium. But if you're looking at the disease that is affecting avocado, so then it will be best for you to look at Crop Protections Compendium, I think, where you would find more content on pests and disease related to avocado. So that is the difference. Okay. So I think I forgot to mention the platform that for compendium is basically the same. So later I'm going to show you one compendium. So basically you can apply it in the rest. So the display and everything is the same for the compendium, which is slightly different from CAP abstract. Okay, so that is a little bit about the compendium. Okay, next is, I think there is some, next is the books. Okay, CABI has been publishing books for a very long time. Okay, I'm showing some of the old books that we have from 1988, livestock breeds, as you can see, and it's sort of, as the time go by, you can see that it has sort of new version will come out. Okay. And a lot of CABI books, are authored by prestigious author, although the subject area can be quite narrow. Okay, but a lot of time you can find that there is a well-known authoritative experts that author CABI books. Okay, so what subject area does it cover? So basically it is aligned with CAP abstract. It covers every agriculture and related applied life sciences. So in agriculture, I think you can see the subject area is familiar to the one that I showed you earlier in CAP abstract. Okay, you have agriculture, economic, rural development, okay, productivity and farming, including supply chain, okay, veterinary and animal science, okay, animal productions, veterinary, aquaculture, and fishery science, okay, environment, okay, climate change, biodiversities, okay, organic farming, soil sciences, hydrology is included in here in ebooks. And then, as I mentioned, basically the coverage is from farm to plate. So of course, it would also include the human health as we consume the produce. Okay, so you have nutrition and food science, and the public health and communicable disease. Okay, as CABI traditionally has been covering veterinary science very well. So there is a lot of information content related to public health and communicable disease, especially, like One Health, with the COVID, people, whatever disease from the animal, there is a potential to jump over to humans. So there's coverage on the One Health area, okay, and also the disease. Beside that, you can also find a lot of content related to alternative use of land, okay, which is the leisure, recreations, and tourism. But what is different from Cabby Leisure and Tourism's books is that, you know, it covers mostly the destination itself rather than the hotel management and hospitality or catering. As you can see, a lot of the focus is on sustainability, okay, eco-tourisms, agri-tourisms, and tourisms for rural development, okay. And then, of course, there is a very strong coverage in plant sciences. So from breeding to a specific crop, okay. And okay, so that is basically a broad base, you can, the subject area that you can expect to find in Cabby ebooks. So what is available to you from the UPLB library? So basically there is close to about 1,000 titles, okay, from year 2000 to present that you can access, okay. And there is a dedicated URL because you have these, and this is also Cabby ebooks is also cross-searchable from Cab Abstract. So for those who, you know, are searching Cab Abstract and you also have Cab ebooks, you can cross-search it from Cab Abstract, you know, to make sure that you actually, you're not missing out anything and you don't really need to jump into Cab ebook and search again. So, but Cab ebook is useful, the platform, the dedicated platform itself, should you like to browse the book. Okay, later I'm going to show you a live demo. So I'm just going to go through. I'm going to skip this a bit. I'm going to just go through this one. Okay. How can you access Cabby resource remotely from home? Okay, as you can see, those are the resources that is available to you and how you can access it. So this is basically a screenshot from the UPLB library. I believe I'm not the expert here, I think, on the access to UPLB library. So basically what I understand is you have the open Athens, okay, where you can authenticate through the open Athens to access all the resources available via UPLB library. Okay, so Gladys, just wondering, would you all want to take over this part, or to show in detail how you can access Cabby resources from home? No? Okay, I assume that there's no issues for anyone, participants here, in terms of accessing the resource in the library?
Yes, ma'am. Currently, we are using the Open Athens for us to be able to access the Cabby resources, even we are not physically reporting or physically going to the library.
Okay, so if I believe, I think most of you are familiar, so I'm not gonna, I think maybe if those who have issues, you can always contact your librarian on how to accessing it from home. Okay, so as you can see, Cabby ebooks is basically sitting under ebooks. And I think all the other database, I believe, is sitting in e-database. But from what I know is once you log into the Open Athens, you can see all the resources that is available to you. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just quickly, before I go into a live demo. Okay, normally, I mean, when you do it to find a topic for your research, or to find to help you to frame your search, you know, I'm not sure, some of you might have heard of the PICO. Okay, how do you can frame your search strategies. This is such a guideline that you can use. You can go it step by step, okay, by looking at, what do you want to search, okay, what are you studying on, like the population P, okay. Once you can sort of use this framework, it is sort of, it can help you to identify the key terms that you can use when you search CABI database, okay. P stands for populations. What are you looking at? Okay, are you interested in maybe looking at the household, the knowledge of the farmers, or you're looking at a particular problem of crops or the land itself, or the livestock, or maybe a disease of swine, okay, or cattle, okay. So this is your populations, and then what kind of intervention, okay. So, and what kind of methods, is it skill training, extension services for the farmers, okay, or field check, okay, or control and preventive measures, what kind of interventions, okay. So you would then try to search for the terms for these interventions. And then if you have comparisons, okay, whether, if you have a group with training and non-training, non-participants or non-control, okay, for comparisons. Okay, these are also the keywords that you can, if you do have a comparisons, then you can also try to think of the keywords to use for comparisons. And then the outcome, is it, are you looking at, the intervention, maybe applying a control measure or preventive measure? Is that reduce in loss or increase in yield, okay, or change in behavior of the farmers? Because these are the outcome, okay. So these are the sort of a guideline for you to think of the keywords when you start your search, okay. And then you can use a CABI thesaurus to think of, based on the PICO, the concept that you would like to search. For example, okay, climate change adaptations in rice productions, okay, your populations, okay, is rice, but is there any other keywords that you should be looking at? So then you can have one concept. And then climate change, let's say the problem, okay? So besides climate change, is there any other keywords that you should be thinking of to do your searching, okay? And then the intervention, the coping strategy, okay? Adaptations, coping strategy, is there any other keywords that you should be searching, okay? And then this is the outcome. Okay, your crop productions, your yield, okay, and then you can then combine these. So this is very abstract at the moment. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to go into live demo just to show you, some of the tools that can help you to find all the right terms once you have sort of identified your PICO to do your search. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen. Yeah, I'm into screen here. Okay, let me just off this. Okay, all right, can you see the welcome to CAP Direct page?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, as you, normally if you are doing your literature search, I think we would usually recommend you to start with CAP abstract, because this is a large database, basically in a comprehensive database, basically covering everything from farm to plate, and it's a worldwide coverage and a broad subject area. So this is the first stop to do your research when you want to, explore either a research topic or to do your literature search. So as I mentioned, when you access capdirect.org, or maybe in UPLB, it might be known as Cap Direct or Cap Abstract. So some people might be confused with, there is Cap Abstract here and there is Cap Direct. Okay, Cap Direct is basically a platform that hosts our flagship resource, which is the Cap Abstract and Global Health. Okay, it depends on what your library have. If you have other resource available to you from your library, then you'll be able to see other resources here. So from UPLB library, you would see these as well. Okay, and then you can also see all these Animal Health and Productions Compendium. So you can either go into each of these independently from Open Athens, or if you go into Cap Direct page, okay, you can also access these from here. Okay, if you do not select any, you can select which one you want to search. Okay, if you don't, it can also cross search. Okay, some of these, except for the data sheets in the compendium. So as you can see, if I click on, let's say, Animal Health and Productions Compendium, it will take you to an independent site, okay, Animal Health and Productions Compendium, that you can do your search, okay. And similarly, for ebooks, okay, those with this icon link out, basically will take you to an independent site, okay. But those without a link out, you can select which database that you want to search. Okay, if you don't select, you just do a search, it would then search, it will cross search. Okay, so I want, let's say just now, we are looking at climate change adaptation. Okay, climate change adaptation. What is that? Climate change adaptation in rice production. Okay, rice production. Okay, typically, if you just do Google search, for example, these are some of the tricks that you might you can learn. Okay, there is some searches like Boolean operator and or and not that you can use in your search. Okay, if you're very familiar with this, you can straight type it in. Okay, like for example, I'm using a phrase searching. Okay, create climate change, adaptations, and rice. So if I put a phrase searching, that means it will search a phrase rather than climate and change independently. So if there is a space in between, automatically the database will put an N. Okay, there is an N here. Okay, and adaptations, just search it as one word. And basically, if you don't put it there, there is an N in the space automatically. So if you do a search like this, okay, okay, what you get is 214 results. Okay, and of course you can browse. Okay, go in individually to browse. For example, here is indicate to you, this is a free full text. Basically, this is open access resource. As you go in, okay, you can look at the content. Okay, if you're interested, you can click, you want to see the full text, you can click to download the free full text, or you can also download from the DOI. Okay, so here it will tell you if anyone have cited this particular article. Okay, so if you are interested to look at the full text, you just click on the DOI and you can, it will link you directly to the article. You can view the full text and download the PDF. Okay, so there is a lot of, as I mentioned earlier, there is a lot of open access article in there. And it also include, like for example, this one, Cabby also hosts some of the full text. Besides linking out, you can, there is some records where we also host the full text and you can find a button. Okay, for those records that doesn't show free full text, okay, for example, this one, okay, if UPLB library also have a subscription to this particular database, to this particular journal, you can link it through the DOI as well, okay, through the URL, okay, and if the library has the access, you can then access the article. If the library doesn't subscribe to this particular journal, normally you can see that it asks you to pay. And then at that point, if you think that you do need that, you can speak to your librarian. Perhaps there is inter-library loan facilities that you can utilize. Okay. So usually major publishers, like Elsevier, Springer, Wiley, you might not be able, there won't be, unless the library have a subscription, then you can access it. Okay, but within the article, sometimes, okay, you might actually find it is an open access article, but not from a Go open access journal. Okay, so what we would recommend is do go in and try to click on the DOI. Don't stop there. And if this particular article is an open access article, okay, you will be able to access the article, because sometimes it doesn't indicate upfront it is an open access journal, but within the journal you might have an open access article. Okay, so do give it a try to see whether it is possible to access the full text. All right. Oh, there's a, okay. So this is it's not available. I think maybe the DOI is not updated. I will need to report this. Okay. So as you can see, this is a very simple way to do your search. Okay, but then you might actually miss out a lot of content if the article do not contain or not index with climate change. Okay, so to start your search, you can always check, okay, in the thesaurus. Okay, thesaurus is open, okay, for you to check whether is there any other term that you should be searching beside the terms that you can think of. Okay, let's say we see climate change. And check the term. Okay, that is a climate change. Okay. You click on it, then it will give you more descriptions. Okay, and then it would tells you if you search climatic change, okay, non-preferred term, then it will tell you, the preferred term is climate change. But you can use this, let's say, okay, this one is what you want to search. I want to search climate change. Maybe I want to also include climatic change in case, in the paper, they use climatic change. Okay, when you click on climatic change, it tells you that the preferred term is climate change. Okay, and then you can see there is narrower term. Maybe I also want to include global warming. Okay, and it would also include other related terms. Okay, maybe I would also want greenhouse effect. Okay, so this is to help you identify, beside climate change, is there any other terms that is related that can expand your search? Okay, and then here you can see there is hierarchy. Okay, where does it see climate change, global warming, soil warming? So do you want to go narrower? So as you go narrower, that means your search will be, you have less. As you go up to the hierarchy, you will have more results. Okay, so this is one concept as I show you. When you have identified, let's say your PICO, what you want to search. So this is one concept. Okay, let's say if you're pretty happy with this, or maybe if you want to look at soil warming, is there any other things that you want to search? Okay, broader term. So maybe you don't think that this is related. You're happy to with this one concept. You can send it. Let's say you can send it to Cap Direct. Okay, so here we are searching one concept. So this is 174. So then you can go to your next concept, the populations. Okay, then you can check. Okay, I just clear rice. Is there anything else I should be searching? Okay, rice. Let's say I want to look at rice. Okay, and then it will give you rice used for paddy. Okay, maybe in case someone use paddy, okay, and use for rice. And maybe I would, is there any other? And then I would also want to look at plant. Okay, the scientific name, Oryza sativa. Okay, so, and you can see these are all the non-preferred terms. Okay, and then you can go further up. Okay, you can see what's the hierarchy. Okay, so you want it more specific Oryza sativa or a broader Oryza? So let's say you see that this is fine, you don't want a broader Oryza. Okay, so you can narrow it down to, to more specific species if you want, or broader. Okay, so let's say you are happy with this. So instead of just one term just now, rice, I have paddy and Oryza sativa. So you can then send it to your Cap Direct. So as you can see, this is your second concept. Okay, and then the third concept is, the intervention, which is adaptation. Okay, then you can then do similar, like adaptation. Okay, you search what is adaptations. Okay, you can see is there anything else, and then you can clear this. Let's say I just do this quickly now. Maybe adaptations Is there anything else? I can just show the hierarchy, evolutions. Nope. Okay, I go to back. Say adaptability, attitude, climate factors, mutations. You can check adaptability. Or maybe you can put climatations, adaptability. Okay, so for example, this is just and then this is the intervention, and then I send it to CapDirect. So it will do another search. Okay, so what else do we have? So we have, there is another one that I found, which is a coping strategy. Okay, and we have done this, climate change, and the outcome, you know, in crop productions. So you can do that, okay, once you have identified all your PICO concepts. Okay, once you have done that, just now, as you can see, I have done a search concept by concept. So what you can do next is, of course, you know, 181,000 record is definitely a lot to, you don't want to go through so much record. So now next thing we do is combine all this. Okay, this is, I'm here at the search history. Okay, we can then combine all this. Example, adaptations, rise. Okay, and then you can choose. Okay, just now is all, and then I can combine it and. So here then you would have a much narrower range of record, okay, 958, okay, based on, you know, the concept or the keywords identified through the help of the Pterosaurus. So as you compare just now with a simple search, without going or thinking about the keyword, okay, carefully, you would have missed out quite a lot of potentially relevant content, okay, from 900 plus, okay, to earlier on when we just search a simple search based on a sentence, keyword identified from a sentence is 214. So this is sort of a simple framework that you can follow when you do a search. So try not to put everything in one sentence and start there, but from a sentence, try to think of the concept you want to search based on PICO, and then combine that searches, and it will give you a more accurate search results. Okay. Any questions so far? No? Okay, we are good. All right. So once you have, let's say once you're happy with your searches, there is a lot of things you can do from this. Oh, these are all the same. Okay, let's say that. Okay, once you're happy with these searches, okay, you could then, you know, either go through each of these. Okay, as you can see, that there are many full text available to you. Okay, and if you wish, okay, on the right hand side, you can further narrow it down to a specific topic. Let's say within this 958 results, you only want to see evidence-based research paper. Okay, is there any evidence-based paper that you can use maybe to make a recommendation? Okay, by clicking at the on the evidence-based filter from the 900, have it done from 958 record. Okay, you can try to see whether is there any evidence-based paper. Okay, so you have 5 paper, which is evidence-based paper: meta-analysis, dose response analysis for high temperature effect on rice yield and quality. Okay, so so this will help you to access evidence-based paper quickly without having to think of additional keyword to refine your search to evidence-based paper. Okay, as you can see here, some of it you can access the full text, but some it doesn't say there is full text available. But let's try, because a lot of evidence-based paper sometimes it is funded by public fund. So the journal article itself could be open access. Okay. So here again, you have your DOI, and then you can see, a lot of people have mentioned this paper. So straight away, you know that, this is quite influential paper. Okay, so it gives you indications when you want to, whether you want to look at this article further or not. So it very quickly from the abstract itself, you could read through the abstract and sort of make your judgment whether you think that it's worth exploring the full text. So here, so unfortunately, this is not an open access article. So it could be if your library have a subscription, you may link through it, or through interlibrary loan facilities. All right. So within an article itself, as you can see, maybe this article you find that this is something that you are interested in. That the algorithm, okay, would suggest a similar kind of paper for you automatically on the right hand side. Okay, if you want to look at more article related to this one, similar to this one, you can click at show all similar record. So you reuse some of the keywords, the index term, the terms indexed by CABI for this particular paper, and then it will redo a search. Okay, within this article itself, you can also identify additional keyword. Okay, if you want to, you can highlight it. Okay, you can look at, let's say, the details of the keyword that is the index term that can be used to index this particular article. Okay, as you mouse over, you can see more detail about the index term or used or indexed by CABI for this particular record. This is it not loading? Let me see. Is it not loading? Too long to respond. You should be able to see. I'm not sure why it's loading pretty slow. Let me try again. Yep. Okay. So as you can see, when you click on the terms indexed by CABI, okay, ZMA, so you can look at the hierarchy. Okay, similarly, you can look at the taxonomy. Okay, and then you can also look at other related terms. Okay, and then from here, for the keyword that is used by CABI to index this particular record, if you wish, you can reuse some of these terms. For example, I want to look at ZMA, okay, or maybe I want to include it in this search. Maybe I want to add it to the search. Okay, instead of rice, I also want to look at corn. I can add it to the search. So what it does is it would quickly the search string that you have done earlier, okay, and we are looking at evidence-based paper, and then I also want to look at adaptations on rice as well as corn, but I want an evidence-based paper. So here now you only have two. So within the record, you have the capability to add in terms or reuse the terms in the record that you find is relevant to rerun another search. So do feel free to explore, okay, from let's say 900 over articles, I now refine my articles to evidence-based paper related to corn and rice. So in terms of refinement. Okay, let's go back to where we are just now. So there's a lot of refinement that you can choose. I think a lot of it you might be familiar. You can refine it by year, by geographical area, and many more. Okay, so do have a play with it. And then once, let's say you are quite happy with your search result, and you want to keep this maybe for later use. Okay, you can always save it, your search string, because as you can see, it's take quite a bit of effort to find the right keywords to do the search. Okay, and you can see that it's quite a long search string, and you don't want to retype this every time you want to search it again. So what you can do here is you can save. I say I want to save this search. Okay, I click here. Okay, so once you click save, it will then ask you to sign in to MyCABI. Okay, MyCABI is basically a personalized account for each individual user of CABI, CAB Abstract, or CABI database. So if you do not have an account, you can sign in or register. Okay, so basically it's just a simple info, name, email, username, and password. Okay, if you already have once you have signed in to MyCABI, you can use it across all CABI database. So you only need to register once. Okay, so my searches. Okay, so now I have already signed in. I can save these searches. Okay, when you save the searches, it will ask you whether you want to save it in existing project or existing folder that you have in your MyCABI. Okay, because I have quite a lot. let's say rice climate change adaptation. I have a folder. I can save it in the folder that I have, or if this is a new project, so you can create a new project and save there. So I say I'm saving it into a folder that I have already created. So once you have done that, okay, as you can see, you will save into my project folder. Okay, climate change adaptations. Okay, so these are the searches that I have saved. Okay, beside that, you can look at it from the if let's say you're doing a final year or your thesis, you know, these are the logs of activities that you have done. Okay, if you need to, sometimes you need to report to your supervisors, okay, your activities. You can also export the activities that you have done. Let's say, okay, these are the searches that I have done. Okay, and if you have looked through any particular record, you can export this activity and share it maybe to with your group or maybe with your supervisor. So report activities means you can download what you have done. If you look at the say I have done the searches in April. Okay, so I've done the searches in April. Okay, these are searches that I have done, I have used. Okay, what's the result? And then I have also saved some record, for example. Okay, if I save some record, you can annotate. Okay, you can put your own notes if you have. Okay, and it will all be you can extract it easily out in your report to share with maybe your group or your supervisor. Okay, so and then when we look at my searches system, the searches that you have saved, for example, okay, just now we have saved the searches into my project, and it also would show under save searches. Okay, when you click at under my save searches, okay, there is additional actions that you can do. Okay, one is if you want to keep yourself up to date on whatever new articles that is being published, okay, you can create an email alert. Okay, create weekly email alert for the selected search. So that means KABI database is updated every week. So if there's a new record that match your search string, you'll get an alert via the email that you enter when you register for my KABI. Okay, so for example here, I'll just create email alert. So I'll get the email alert. So if you don't want it, you can just switch it off. Okay. So other than that, okay, you can also download. Okay, let's go back to the search result. Okay, other than saving the searches, you can also, if let's say, if you wish, you can also, let's say, you have read through these, let's say I'm interested in these 3 articles, or you want to share it with your friend or colleague or your group, you can email to them or email to yourself. Let's say if you don't want to register for my KABI, you can just quickly email to yourself. Yeah. Okay, and then you just enter the email address and how much details that you want and the format. Okay, and just click send and you receive the email. And if you are using any particular, for example, reference management software, okay, you can also export the record that you have selected. Say, for example, here I'm using, let's say, EndNotes, for example, and I want to export these 3 articles. Okay, let's see this. Okay, I just export it. Okay, it will export into RS format file. And if you do have access to EndNotes, as you click on it, it will automatically load it into your EndNotes. So then you can then, if you want to use it for your references, I think you can use the format, the citations format that you choose. Okay, so this is, it basically works with most of the major reference management, software. So these are some of the tools that you can use. Of course, you can also choose how many records you want to show in a page, up to 100. If you want to mark all in a page, for example, here got 25, you want to mark all and read later, you can just click on all. And there's a few tools that you can use. Okay, do feel free to explore. Okay, so remember there is a tool, Thesaurus, to help you find the right keywords to search comprehensively and accurately. Okay, besides searching, you can also browse if you wish. Okay, you can browse by author, you can browse by serials, or you can browse by subject. Okay, when you click at subject, you can see very quickly, you can look at aquatic science, for example. I want to look at fisheries, for example. So you can just very quickly browse through and then refine it on the right-hand side, a particular topic within, for example, fisheries that you want to explore further, okay, on the right-hand side where you can explore further information. Okay, so this is about, this is sort of a walkthrough on the features and the tools that you can use to search, to do a literature search on CAP Abstract. So next one I want to show you is, we have, I think I'm a bit over time, is Compendium, because it's slightly different. Okay, let's go to, say, CABI. I won't go into detail, but just to show you the different, you see. Okay, I'm now going into Crop Protections Compendium. Okay, as I mentioned earlier in the introductions, Compendium is slightly different. The topic is very specific. Okay, you are searching for fishery topic and you come here and search fishery, you might not find a lot of information. You're looking at climate change, adaptation, maybe you won't find a lot of information, but you're looking at disease of rice, yes, you will find a lot of information here. Okay, let's say without searching, you can see on the top, the type of material content available in Compendium. So major one is the data sheets. The abstract, basically, you can cross-search it through the CAP Abstract. Okay, so the data sheet mainly, I'm looking at, just now we are looking at rice. Okay, when you search rice, preferably when you search CABI database, it's always better to use a scientific term so that your search is more accurate. Okay, if you do not specify the type of content you want to search, it will search across all type of content. If you do specify, then you can just narrow it to a particular search. Or you can go into the tab and do your search, and then it will also search within that particular type of material. Okay, as I mentioned, the compendium, you have the data sheets of the crop itself and the related disease of the plant. Okay, so you can see when you browse down on the right hand side, Okay, the type of content is search you have, because we didn't specify, you search for articles, conference proceeding, and data sheets. Okay, so the journal article and conference proceeding is quite similar to what you see in tab abstract. You know, it's basically articles or paper that you can just go through and explore. But what I want to show you here is about the data sheets. Okay, because the data sheets itself, then it would further refine it to full and basic. And then within the data sheets, it will further refine to either is a data sheet of pests. This is a pest related to rice. And then you have also the rice plant, the plant itself, the crops or the host plant. Okay. And then you have the data sheets of natural enemy of the pest or the disease. Okay. And then these are the vector, basically the insects that can transmit the disease. If let's say I'm looking at the crop itself, okay, this, I won't refine it. This is all a mix of, some is a data sheet of disease, some is the data sheets of the crop. For example, here I'm looking at crop Oryza sativa. So when you do a search on CABI database, you know, if you're not familiar with the terms, you can also use the CAB thesaurus to guide you. You know, should I search for rice? Should I search for the plant, the Oryza sativa, you know, or any other terms, you know, to guide you. But preferably, always use a scientific name if you know a scientific name. Okay. So here, this is a typical data sheet. Okay, this is a data sheet of a crop or host plant. Okay. So the preferred scientific name, as mentioned here, is Oryza sativa. Okay, so the data sheet itself, one data sheet contains many sections. Okay, you can browse through. Okay, many sections. But what is the more important part is the relationship database, the relationship between the data sheets that you can find in the compendium. Okay, for example, within the list of pests, okay, or maybe notes of pests. Okay, this is a notes about pests that is affecting rice. And then within there, you can see underneath, there is a list of pests that is affecting rice. You can see there is a lot. Major hosts of, these are the pests of rice. So you can see there's many. And then you can see most of it you have is actually a hyperlink. Okay, as you click on any of these hyperlink, it would then take you to the data sheets of the pest. See, this is then, we are now in the data sheets of a pest of rice leaf miner. Okay, so then you can read through many sections in this particular pest. Let's say I want to look at the control on the natural enemy, dispersion detection. There's a lot of info within the one data sheets. You can see this is quite a lot. Okay, and then you know, which part of, you know, where this pest has been reported. Okay, you can see that this include Philippines. Okay, and each of these would have its reference. So who reported, where is the references from? So you can see there is a reference. So you can also download all these references, or you can download the KML files for this particular, you know, distributions. Okay, or you can download it in the CSV file. You know, where is it present, where is it not present, and the extent of the disease. So, and then within this particular pest, it would also show you, you know, the host plant. Beside rice, what other host or host beside rice, what other plants that it can attack, right? So again, when you click on either one of it, then it will take you to, let's say this one, it will take you back to the data sheets of wheat. Okay, so it's a relationship database. So when you want to use the content here, maybe in your workshop, in your presentations, you do not want all of it. For example, let's say I just want a section on symptoms or signs and control maybe. So there is a button here on the top page. Okay, as you can see on the top page, on the main page here, on the table of content page, there's a list, there's a button called the Generate Report, okay, where you can customize your own data sheet. Okay, here, so these are the sections that I showed you earlier for the compendium. Let's say I only want maybe the impact, the movement, okay, let's say how to detect. Okay, I'm doing a class on this, or you're doing a project on this. I just only want these 3 sections, and maybe I will just want prevention and control. Okay, so maybe just want to move this up. All right, and then you can then very quickly generate a report from here. Okay, so you can save it in the HTML. You can put in a document format. You know, save in a document format. It's up to you. Okay, so this is just a quick overview on the compendium. Okay, and if, let's say, how do I say, you want to extract any part of it, you can extract it. But when you do a search, you can, let's say, let me go back. Rice. Okay, let's go back. Okay. Let's say once I have done a search, for example, I want to keep some of these search result. As you can see here, there is, besides generating a customized a report, there's no way like what you see earlier to mark and export or do all the steps to manage your search result. So what you need to do when you reach this stage, let's say I want all these 38,000 record here. Okay, what you need to do at this point is to sign into MindCabby. Once you have signed in or register, you only need to register once. You can reuse back your
Hi, ma'am. May I interrupt po? Please, may request to you to please wrap up the session after a few minutes to give time for our Q&A.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is just to show you very quickly. This is the last part. Sorry for running over. Okay, and then we go back here. So as you can see now, all these would appear. Okay, without signing to MindCabby, you won't be able to do, to manage or to action on your search result. So don't forget, do sign into MindCabby once, let's say, you have come to a search result where you want to make a further actions. All right. So for other one, I think CAP ebooks is very easy. I think I won't really show you much about it because, it's just like browsing a bookshelf. You can browse the latest one, okay? And you click on it with the chapter, or you can browse by subject area, or you can do a search, okay? So that is the end of it. And what I want to move on, okay, just for a few minutes, is basically, can you now see the slides?
Yes, ma'am. You can see.
Right, okay. Put it up. All right. This is basically, once I say you have finished your paper, you have done a write-up, and then you want to share your research quickly with the world, for example. And Cabby has what we call the preprint archive. Preprints is basically something that you can share without, before it is being submitted to publish in the journal. Okay, so it is free. Okay, the submissions is very quick. Usually within a few days, it can be published. But the thing is, please bear in mind that this is a preprint, so it's not a journal. So it is not peer review. This is a step before submitting to a journal. Okay, you can share your articles or your write-up in the Agri Archive. So basically, it's the benefit is, you can claim your research, first to publish, claim your research, and a DOI will be allocated and it's being indexed in Google Scholar, so people can discover your paper. Okay, and then it can also be a forum, a platform for people to discuss, to give feedback on your paper. So this is Agri Archive. If you're interested, you can search this out and have a look. Okay, and each of the articles that is being accepted, you get a DOI. Okay, so people can cite your paper as well. Okay, but please bear in mind that this is a preprint. This is not a journal, so there is no peer review process. Okay, the upload is simple, so do have a look, agriarchive.org. Okay, other than that, within CABI, you also have a lot of resource, okay, to help you write paper. Once I say you have done your final steps, and then you are interested to submit to a journal, there's a lot of resource that is available via this video resource, a dedicated channel. Okay, secure funding, publication disseminations, and it's basically is a recorded webinar. Okay, what happened after submissions, writing agriculture grant proposals, and attending authorships. So do have a look if you are interested. Okay, there is a link there, and basically that's it. That's all for today. So I hope it is useful, and sorry for running over. And any questions?
So thank you very much for that very informative and insightful talk, Ms. Lina. For sure, our participants really benefited from your lecture. So I just want to give a shout out and thank you to all our participants via Zoom and via Facebook Live for your unwavering attention throughout the presentation. So I am Tin, and I'll be the one to facilitate our Q&A. So if you have questions and clarifications regarding the presentation, kindly use the Pigeonhole link being flashed on your screen, and it's also being posted in our Zoom chat box. So I think the committee can share now the Pigeonhole. Sir Jaren. Okay, so we have 3 questions. So the first question is, so Ms. Lina, can you please highlight one feature of CABI?
Okay, I think one of the features of CABI is basically the indexing that is used for each of the record that you see in CAB abstract. So it's very detailed index to help you find the relevant record accurately. Okay, so indexing is one of the key features in CAB abstract, and how you can use a thesaurus to pair it with the indexing to find your research, the article that you're looking for.
Thank you. Thank you. And then for our next question, so we have any tips on how to easily navigate to CABI?
Okay, if you do not have any particular subject in mind, okay, if you just exploring, your research topic, the first stop I would say is CAB abstract. Go to CAB abstract because it's cover everything about agriculture and the related subject. You can browse from there. From the home page, you can see what is available to you from your library. As I showed you earlier, if you can see, you have all that. And from always start with cap abstract because it's broad, so you won't miss out everything. Unless you are very sure that you only want to look at fish disease. So you might then want to explore both cap abstract and aquaculture compendium. Yeah. So yeah. So this is how you navigate from the home page. You can explore simple search and then see what else is available to you, and then you can click on a specific compendium, or you can look at ebooks.
So thank you, ma'am. So for our next question, so can I download the full text in Kabi even if I am outside the UPLB campus?
Yes, as long as you are authorized user, that you can access cap abstract via maybe Open Athens. Yeah, you have the authorizations to use Open Athens. Yes, you can.
And also, may I add, so doon po sa nag-ask ng question, so may I add, if you have a hard time in accessing a full text of an article, you can use our online article request service. So you can find it in our library website. So you can use that, or you can email us at universitylibrary.uplb@up.edu.ph.